ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930 present The Drive.
It is Monday, April 15th. Your drive begins now on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. We're going to open up our text line this hour, 304-396-TALK. That's 304-396-8255. Tomorrow's the big day. We're going to find out more about Marshall's new women's basketball coach, Julie Folks. She's going to join us on the program tomorrow as well. We had a busy day tomorrow. We'll get the presser tomorrow. So we'll do that. We'll head over to the Henderson Center at 11 a.m. We're going to go over there, find out more about what she has to say about the program. Then we'll have a sort of a breakaway session, and I'll have that for you on the show tomorrow, or I'll post it on the podcast, or both. I'm not sure which yet, because coming up tomorrow, we got Marshall baseball. They're taking on Morehead State, and we're going to go ahead and do that game tomorrow. So I'll be over at Jack Cook Field for the show. And Julie's going to join us on the show tomorrow. She's also going to throw out the first pitch of the game. So if you haven't got your tickets just yet and you want to go and meet her, you can go to the ballpark tomorrow. She'll throw out the first pitch. I'm sure you'll have an opportunity to meet her. Of course, tomorrow at the Henderson Center as well, 11 a.m. introductory press conference. So we've got baseball tomorrow. We've got basketball tomorrow. Going to be a busy day. Looking forward to it. But that's pretty cool. Corny threw out the first pitch the other day. That was pretty cool as well. So we'll see how well she does. But we've got a lot to get into. Of course, we will get your text in this hour. We'll open that up in the next few minutes at 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. As I mentioned, Herd's back in action, taking on Morehead State. It's a home and home. They'll play tomorrow, and then they'll travel to Morehead on Wednesday. I like that series. Opportunity to get a couple of games in. Morehead's not that far away, so it's a nice, quick trip. It's an easy trip for Herd fans that maybe want to travel, midweek game, but still, you're getting a home and home starting tomorrow. Should be fun, and I feel good about this team. I know they lost the series against Louisiana, but we're talking about a top 25 team in Louisiana, and they didn't look bad. There's some things you can clean up, and using coach speak, obviously. But they lost 3-1, 1-0, and 2-0. That's not terrible by any stretch of the imagination. Get a few things situated, I think you're a little bit more competitive. But I wasn't disappointed with the baseball series over the weekend. Now with softball, the Herds coming home to take on Coastal Carolina. Ultimately, finishing their road trip 3-3, lost the series at JMU. They got beat 8-7. Okay, that's not terrible. Could have had that one. 7-5, anything could have happened there. Could have had that one. And then they just lost that third one 11-3. That was finished in 5. Didn't finish as strong as you would like to. But in a couple of those games, if something goes differently, you could have won one or two of those games. So back at home, taking on Coastal Carolina this weekend. Softball now 20-21, 6-9 in the Sun Belt. So hopefully Morgan Zirkle's team can get a few days rest, come back, and start out strong again against Coastal Carolina. For baseball, the Herd now 12-22. 5-10 in the Sun Belt. Sun Belt's a good conference. Don't let detractors tell you otherwise. Don't believe everything you read on X or message boards. Sun Belt's a pretty solid conference in baseball. And Louisiana's really good. And Marshall just opened up Jack Cook Field. It wasn't going to be an instant revitalization of the baseball program. You have a facility now you can recruit to. You remember? Maybe you don't, but if you've been around for a while, you remember that the recruiting pitch sometimes had to find ways to absolutely avoid the situation of, this is where we play. How do you offer a scholarship, or how do you offer a player the opportunity to play baseball when you're avoiding the whole, okay, coach, where's the field? There have been some recruits I've heard, and again, a lot of this is hearsay, but I've been told this, and I have no reason to doubt it, that there have been times where recruits were interested, they'd come up. It was an easy trip for them. They would go and look at the situation themselves and go, okay, take Marshall off the list. That's not going to be the case now. That's going to be a lot more of a, all right, how's the coaching staff doing? How's the team performing? What's Marshall offering? Facilities are there. And just keep in mind, I mean, this is a close series against Louisiana. They're rated 19th. And Marshall was very competitive with them. And, of course, Marshall just a few nights ago beating West Virginia at home. Marshall's been very strong at home. That's where Marshall has found its success, and hopefully that can translate into more wins and maybe more on the road. But, yeah, I'm optimistic about what the Thundering Herd's been doing. Morehead State, the opponent tomorrow. That should be fun. I'm sure there'll be some fans that make the trip from Morehead to come up to Huntington. Again, it's an easy trip. I would think there would be some fans that make that trip. Always play the schools around you. I want to see Marshall play Morehead State more, play Ohio more. I would play any opponent that is within reason driving distance to Huntington if I could. That means I got to play a couple more MAC schools, so be it. Play them. I would be okay with that. But tomorrow should be fun. And again, as we found out a few minutes ago, Julie Folks will be not only at the Henderson Center tomorrow with the introductory press conference, and we'll be there, and we'll have her on the show at the ballpark. She'll be throwing out the first pitch. So with her presser coming up tomorrow, and we'll get more into that in just a few minutes, what do you want to hear from her tomorrow? You became interested in women's basketball because Kim Caldwell, one, brought an exciting style of basketball. And I've described it as like watching hockey several times. It's fast-paced. They shift a lot. 5 in, next 5 up. It's very high energy. Now, you bring in a coach that has a lot of success at the Division III ranks. What is she going to bring and offer that's going to keep you excited for the program outside of wins? Because to this day, wins matter to me more than anything, but there's a core group of folks. You might be among them, and that's fine. You're telling me, look, I like wins too, but I want to be entertained. I want to be entertained with the victory. I'm not just going there to watch them win. I'm there to watch them and have fun. I want to see high pace. I want to see a lot of shooting. I want to see a lot of up and down the court. I want to see a lot of scoring. I mean, that's why Marshall football is installing the air raid. You want to see a little bit more high-octane offense, right? I mean, I'm a guy who likes defense. I'm good with that. I like winning. I like winning a lot, but it's how you get there that's important to a lot of people. So what are you looking for tomorrow? When you listen to her, when you start to get to know her, what do you want to hear from her? What do you expect from her as far as making the transition from Division III to D1? Going to be completely different. What's her philosophy going to be? How good is she going to be in the transfer portal? Does she have a list already? Is there an active, aggressive push to really work the transfer portal? What do we want to hear from her? So those are going to be some of the things we'll be talking about today and tomorrow. And, of course, she's going to be with me tomorrow from the ballpark. So I'm looking forward to heading over tomorrow to see the Herd take on Morehead State and, of course, see the Herd introduce its new women's basketball coach. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. We'll get the text line open. We'll do that now. 304-396-TALK. 304-396-8255. That's our number. You can also find me on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Paul Swann. We'll talk a little bit more about basketball. That's coming up tomorrow. Disappointing finish for the men and soccer. The College Spring League final taking place this weekend. Disappointing finish for the Herd. Didn't win that first place trophy. We'll touch on that a little bit, update you on everything else that's happening with the women and the men across the board. And we'll hear from you. It's The Drive. Paul Swann, your host, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Gabby.
Hey, Gabby. It's Jennifer Coolidge. Hi. I'm so glad I reached you at 2 a.m.
Oh, of course. Anyone with a Discover card can call and talk to a real person 24/7. Now, how can I help?
Yeah, I used my Discover card to buy these yellow pleather pajamas, and I'm just not sure I'm pulling them off.
24/7 U.S.-based customer service. It pays to Discover. Limitations apply. Learn more at discover.com/creditcard.
In the tapestry of life, we encounter stories of legacy and accomplishment, but sometimes also abuse, neglect, or financial exploitation. Adult Protective Services understands the importance of safeguarding the well-being of our loved ones, our neighbors, and our community. To report neglect or abuse, call 800-352-6513. Sponsored by the Administration for Community Living, West Virginia Department of Health and Human Resources, Bureau for Social Services, the West Virginia Broadcasters Association, and this station. This project was supported by the Administration for Community Living, ACL, and the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, HHS, as part of a financial assistance award totaling $383,493, with 75% funded by ACL, HHS, and 25% in the amount of $85,236 funded by state government sources. The contents are those of the authors and do not necessarily represent the official views of, nor an endorsement by, ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
Stalwart Insurance is the name for insurance in the tri-state. They are committed to delivering tailored benefit solutions with thoughtful, strategic planning with valuable professional services. Stop by or call Stalwart Insurance for your homeowner's insurance needs. Stalwart Insurance is located right beside Kitty Queen Hardware on Route 10 in Barbersville. Call Stalwart Insurance anytime at 304-552-3883. That's 304-552-3883. Or visit them online at stalwartinsurance.com.
Working Man Store in Huntington. Check out the biggest inventory of scrubs in West Virginia, featuring brands such as Healing Hands, Dickies, Cherokee, and Med Couture at the best price. Working Man Store has one of the largest selections of big and tall shirts, jackets, and jeans in the area. Working Man Store is the king of blue jeans with Levi's, Dickies, Carhartt, Lee, and Wranglers in sizes up to 72. And Working Man Store has the best selection of men's work boots and casual shoes anywhere at the best price. Working Man Store, open every day at 140 5th Avenue, Huntington.
Metro Community Federal Credit Union has been serving the Huntington community for 70 years and is proud to announce our newest location in Lavalette is now open. Wayne County residents, you now have access to a modern banking facility, a full range of services, advanced technology, expert financial advice, and even a smart coffee kiosk cafe. Learn more about Metro Community Federal Credit Union online at metrocommunityfcu.com or visit us today on 5th Street Road.
Equal housing lender, member NCUA.
Looking to sell your vehicle and receive well above current market value? You're in luck, because that's exactly what you'll get during the grand opening of the Glockner Buying Center at all Glockner locations. Glockner's partnership with Kelley Blue Book allows us to offer above current market value for your vehicle in under 15 minutes. No appointment necessary. Even if you choose not to buy from us, we will still buy from you. That's how easy it is to sell us your vehicle.
We make it easy at Glockner.com.
Giovanni's has great Italian dishes. Spaghetti with meat sauce, lasagna, ravioli, manicotti, and baked lasagna. Giovanni's has the best sandwiches around, from the stromboli, Italian sub, calzones, and their signature Big Red. All dinners will be served with hot garlic bread or Italian rolls. Giovanni's Pizza, fresh, hot, and tasty. Have it delivered right to your door. Giovanni's, the Italian place to be.
This is The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
We continue on with today's edition of The Drive here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. Our text line is now open. It's 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. We got a lot to get into. Of course, tomorrow, the big day, Marshall introducing its new women's basketball coach in Julie Folks. We'll meet her tomorrow at the Henderson Center. She'll be at the ball game. that evening, throwing out the first pitch. Marshall taking on Morehead State. We'll have that game starting at 5:50 right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. So how many of you yesterday got wrapped up in all of the craziness that is UK basketball? Of course, Mark Pope hired as the new head coach, and they had a presser, Sunday presser, similar to what Marshall will have. But I think that's disingenuous of me to call it similar because they had a full Rupp Arena. They were turning people away yesterday for the presser. It's a press conference. And people showed up from parts all over, making the opportunity, to see the hiring, the introductory presser, whatever you want to call it. I mean, people drove from states away because they wanted to be a part of it. And so Mark Pope comes up and he fired up the fans. It was like going to church, it felt like, listening to him yesterday. And, he took some shots. I think he took some shots. He was talking about winning championships in Nashville. Kentucky hasn't done that in a long time. Talking about winning championships in Nashville at the tournament. I mean, that's something. So it was pretty exciting. I don't think we'll see the thousands upon thousands of thousands showing up anytime soon for an introductory presser, any Marshall event. But I hope we see a good crowd tomorrow. I just keep it realistic here. They're basketball crazy in the Bluegrass State. They're basketball crazy in Lexington. And they're hungry for success. They haven't had it in the truest sense to their standards, Kentucky fans, in a long time. And, of course, they had a lot of people back from that 96 championship. I mean, look, Rick Pitino's putting them over. You saw that, right? Pitino was putting Pope over, one of his guys. Also said he would contribute to the NIL fund to help. I mean, here's Rick Pitino, probably at this moment now more beloved as a former coach of UK than Coach Cal. If you had to rank him, I'm sure Rick Pitino right now, even if he was at Louisville, ranked higher among the former coaches. Higher than Cal, at least, anyway. So that was pretty big. So that was a big deal. Again, I don't think we're going to see that anytime soon here. Not too many places can pull that off. I'd like to see a good crowd tomorrow for this introductory presser. But, again, it's coming up tomorrow. It's going to be 11 a.m. We'll have her on the show with us tomorrow night. We'll be over at the ballpark. We've got the game as well. Marshall taking on Morehead State. You can listen to that right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. So I'm curious, what are you hoping to hear from her? Because women's basketball, let's be fair, it hadn't generated a lot of interest over the years. Last season, it generated a lot of interest. Herd fans embraced this team. Herd fans came out, got behind a winner, enjoyed the fast pace of play. Kim Caldwell, she was a state girl who has done good. Someone who had success at the Division II rank, now making her move up, staying in state, and then bringing the Herd its first basketball championship, regular season, and then tournament championship in the Sun Belt. These were the first Sun Belt basketball titles, regular and, of course, that tournament, getting the team back in the NCAA tournament since 1997. I remember that well. Been a long time between visits to the tournament, and, of course, now she's taking her talents to Tennessee, and hopefully she'll do well there. And now you bring in a coach that has a long history of success. She's established. She's making the move up from Division III to Division I. She's also someone who's had championship success And now she's being handed a Division I program with probably a lot of resources that she didn't have before. So we'll really find out, what that transition is going to be like for her. I'm curious what the transition for her is going to be from D3 to D1, similar to what the transition was for Kim Caldwell from Division II to Division I. She talked about the calendar, the schedule. That was different for her. From our text line, texter says, Paul, I wonder if other coaches, having now seen the success and fan interest in the Caldwell style of basketball, will now try to imitate it. I think younger coaches coming up will. I don't know if imitate it is the right way to say it, but they might take things that she's doing and find what works for them. And I don't think you're going to see a lot of coaches just yet, established coaches that are leading successful programs doing that. And honestly, I think this is going to be the big test because she's going into the SEC at Tennessee, a program that is hungry for relevancy again. One of the traditional programs in women's basketball, one of the powers, and it hasn't had that success that it's used to in a long time. And now you bring in this new coach that's hopefully going to revitalize Tennessee basketball. I mean, Tennessee calls you, you take the call. And she's got an opportunity to prove that, okay, this works. Not only did it work in the Sun Belt and Division I, we saw a lot of success once my team got understanding of what this is about. Now I'm bringing it to Tennessee. And we'll see if that style of play works night in and night out in the SEC. I think it's going to. But if she starts having success, I think then others will look at it and see what she's doing. And, of course, how long she has success is going to be another measure because if there's a way to score, there's a way to stop it. I mean, that's the chess game we play, right? Okay, what's she doing that's so difficult? Okay, now how do we stop that? Okay, what are they doing to stop me, and how do I adjust to that? I mean, that's part of the game. Adjustment. And see, that's what you need. You need to take that on the road, that to the next level, see if that style of play can be consistently maintained. I think it's going to be a unique style. You're going to have to be prepared. SEC coaches, for the most part, will have to really think about Tennessee that first season. Now, season 2, season 3, if she's got sustained success, okay, then I think we're going to be on to something here. So that's going to be her challenge. Okay, I proved we can do it year 1 in the Sun Belt, and teams didn't know what to do with me. Now, it would have been interesting to see what year 2 would have looked like for her in the Sun Belt if coaches would have caught on to some of the things she's doing and maybe tried to come up with ways to match her. And year 3, year 4, I mean, she's had sustained success at Glenville State. So she has been successful with it. It's not just a matter of, okay, this is a trick, this is a gimmick, this is a garbage offense. It works only so long. She's had sustained success. Now, can she have that at Tennessee? To answer your question, I think she can, and then you might see more coaches, especially younger coaches coming up that have been exposed to this, or future coaches that maybe play in this style. I think you're going to see that type of offense be not so unique in maybe the next few years if it's successful at Tennessee. Now, coming in tomorrow, I don't think we're going to see that kind of style out of Julie Folks. We're going to see a little bit more defense, I think. But we don't know what she's planning on doing, making the transition from Division III to Division I. You know, is that really a thing, a transition from Division III to Division I? Isn't basketball? It's just you have more resources now. You can go recruit. I don't want to say better athletes, but you can go out and recruit Division I caliber athletes to play your style of basketball. You have resources now. You can do more. You can maybe hire more of a staff. You're going to have, of course, have to work the transfer portal. And I don't think that she is going to be afraid to do that. I don't think that Coach Caldwell was afraid to do that. I don't think on the men's side Cornelius Jackson's going to be afraid to do that. I think the model of working the transfer portal right now still belongs to Coach Huff. I mean, it's like a business over there. It's almost like a pro-level team over there, the way that they manage the transfer portal. However successful or not successful they are, they definitely have grasped it at least, and they understand it, and it's a 24/7 job for them. So I'm interested in a lot of things coming up tomorrow, but I'm going to be watching a lot of Tennessee basketball, not because I want to see her fail. I'm just curious now, okay, will Coach Caldwell be able to make that adjustment quickly from Marshall to Tennessee, the Sun Belt to the SEC, higher level of basketball night in and night out? Let's be fair. When you coach at Tennessee, you're going to be coaching teams that are really good, and you're going to be going up against teams that are really good. I don't know if you can say the same for the Sun Belt. I think there was a drop-off of quality when you got to certain level of programs. I don't think you're going to see that much of a drop-off from top to bottom when you get in the SEC. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. More coming up, including your text on today's edition of the show, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Some days, my active psoriatic arthritis makes it hard to get in the game. Now, the ball is in my court, thanks to treating my skin and joints with Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults. Skyrizi helps with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue. For those who also have plaque psoriasis, 90% clearer skin is possible with just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, there's nothing like clearer skin and better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi and visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Every day, Cintas service reps help businesses get ready for the workday. They provide freshly laundered workwear delivered every week. Mats, mops, restroom and cleaning supplies. First aid and safety products to help your employees stay safe. They even test and inspect fire extinguishers and emergency lights. Cintas helps keep your business running smoothly. See what Cintas can do for you. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Sunflower Seeds will host an I Run Walk for Ukraine 5K Saturday, May 18th at Ritter Park. It starts at 9 o'clock. Visit TriStateRacer.com to register. T-shirts, canvas bags, and other items, part of the $25 pre-registration fee. Sunflower Seeds Incorporated is a tri-state area nonprofit established to raise awareness and resources for humanitarian aid to Ukrainian refugees. 17 million Ukrainians are in need of aid, and most of the refugees are women and children who want to remain near their Ukrainian homeland. To date, Sunflower Seeds has raised $40,000 and over 13,000 pounds of food and medical supplies have been delivered across 6 trips to Poland and beyond. Again, to be part of this I Run Walk for Ukraine 5K May 18th at Ritter Park, 9 o'clock, visit TriStateRacer.com to register.
Hey, Tri-State, Frank's Place is where friends hang out with friends. Stop on by for happy hour from 4 to 6 p.m. and a lot of daily specials. If you're a sports fan, we have what you want, from NCAA basketball, NBA, NHL, and MLB. First responders, stop by Frank's Place and check out the specials we have for you. Frank's Place, located at the River Place Plaza, next to Fratelli's. Check us out on Facebook for weekly updates and specials. Frank's Place, your home away away from home.
Stuck in a state of falling behind, struggling to keep up with kids, finances, insurance, and life? Well, let your State Farm agent help you simplify and get to a better state. With State Farm handling your auto, home, and life insurance, you'll have more time to handle everything else. More money, too. Adding State Farm policies can earn discounts that could add up to 40% and help you get ahead. Call an agent today and get to a better state with State Farm. In Huntington, Jeff Smith, 304-781-1234. In Milton, Eric Dodson, 304-390-4515. And in Wayne, Vicky Tabor, 304-272-5149.
Now is the time to add on a new bathroom or remodel your old one with the latest up-to-date bathroom fixtures from Mutual Wholesalers, 710 5th Street, Huntington. Come in today to Mutual Wholesalers' beautiful showroom and see how your new bathroom will look. Check out Acre by Max. Have a new bathroom this year. Mutual Wholesalers, locally owned and operated, 710 5th Street, Huntington. Call 304-525-9118.
This is The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
Welcome back. It's the Monday edition. Paul Swann, your host, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. You can find me on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Paul Swann. Also, our text line is now open. It's 304-396-TALK. That's 304-396-8255. Tomorrow we'll be at the ballpark for the show. Also, we'll be there to watch the first pitch by new women's basketball coach Julie Folks. She'll also be with me on the show tomorrow. Introductory presser for her coming up at 11 a.m. tomorrow, and then we'll have a breakout session afterwards. I'll try to get that posted, or we'll have it on the show. I'm not sure which just yet, because we're going to be over at the ballpark. We are going to be talking to her, so I'll probably go over some of the same questions with her a little bit. Maybe we'll get a little bit more in-depth with her. But that's coming up tomorrow. I'm looking forward to it, meeting the new head coach, and, of course, hearing what she has to say. What do you want to hear from her? I'm curious. I'm absolutely curious, because I don't know enough about her just yet, other than what people have told me, and it's been so far so good. But is she going to be able just to make that transition easy? I mean, she's been doing this a lot longer. She's been coaching many more years. She has success. She has championship. I mean, with Coach Caldwell, I'm curious to see how she's going to transition from Marshall to Tennessee, because let's be honest, let's be fair. You went from Marshall, where what she did was amazing, and everyone is happy she was able to do that, and they were all behind her. I'm not sure what the media level is going to be like in Tennessee, but let me tell you, that's a program that used to win a lot. So there's going to be some higher expectations. And just to be fair, we're not the meanest media group ever. We're not that mean. So I'm curious to see how the transition is going to be for her. And then I'm curious to see what the transition is going to be tomorrow, because, again, you're coming from Transylvania, transient they call it. Kentucky's a crazy basketball state. They love basketball. So she's probably used to a lot of things that Coach Caldwell had to get adjusted to. You think people were talking to her on a weekly basis a lot about Glenville State? You think she had maybe more than one reporter covering Glenville State on a weekly basis? I don't think so. I don't think so. There's interesting things that are going to be coming up tomorrow that I'm curious about, just to kind of get a feel for what's it going to be like. And again, she's had success at the Division III level. What's that going to look like now moving up to Division I? Are we expecting an instant duplication of what Marshall was able to do with Caldwell? Regular season title, Sun Belt tournament title. I mean, is that going to be your instant measure of success? Or, is this a coach that maybe will stick around for a few years? And not to drop shade on Caldwell, because I'm not, but she was, at least in her remarks, planning on staying at Marshall for several years, but then Tennessee came a-calling. I'm curious to see how long she's able to keep those folks happy at Tennessee, because you're making a big jump, and I'm happy for her, but that's a big jump. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. That's our number to be a part of today's edition of the show here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. As I mentioned, some other things were happening over the weekend. We talked about baseball. Baseball lost its series against number 19 Louisiana. Softball lost its series at JMU. Both teams were swept. I think baseball played better than the record may indicate. Softball, a couple of those games could have gone either way. That final game belonged to James Madison. There was some good stuff coming out of tennis. Tennis beat App State 4-3 on Saturday. So now they'll finish things up. They'll take on James Madison. And that's going to also be a home match. So John Mercer will be with us on Friday to talk about the weekend matchup with James Madison. Golf's on the road. The women at the Sun Belt Conference Championship. The men are at the Mountaineer Invitational. And then soccer. Soccer fell to Michigan State. Chris Grassie's boys couldn't get it done. Lost to Michigan State 2-1 in the Spring League Championship game. So they're finishing second place. I know Chris Grassie likes winning the trophies, likes winning the championships, but I'm not going to lose much sleep over this one. This is a great way to find out what you need to know about your team before you play in conference, play your regular season. I wish more sports were able to do something just like small scale like this a little bit. I don't know if you could pull this off, but you couldn't in football. I don't think you could have football. You couldn't do this. I mean, maybe basketball, you could do something, maybe, I don't know. I don't want to go the NBA model here, but maybe you could have just like a mini tournament here or there. I don't know how you can do this. But in soccer, it works. I like this. So we need to see some improvement now from the Thundering Herd, obviously. I mean, you lose the championship game in the Spring League, and we're talking about, you need some improvement here from this team. Team that won the Sun Belt regular season championship and then the tournament. We're talking about needing to see some improvement from here. But it was a good crowd I saw as well from Herd fans making the trip. And I don't want to say a game that doesn't count, but this is like spring football, spring soccer. You want to say it the American way. This is spring sports we're talking about here for soccer. And there was a strong crowd that showed up at legendary Crew Stadium for this one. So I was impressed with that. And I don't know how you could translate that into some other sports as well. But I was expecting Chris Grassie's squad to just win this thing, blow this thing away. Instead, Michigan State looked a little faster than I was expecting them to be. And, of course, I really don't think that this is like the final product of Marshall men's soccer, to be fair. When you get to this championship game, you want to win it, but at the same time, I really think that the mad scientist himself is playing around with his lineups, tinkering. He's not necessarily – this isn't the done deal here for this squad. So I'm not too worried about this, but it's pretty cool. We had spring soccer to really get into for a few weeks. Back to our text line. Texter says, Paul, I am happy Coach Caldwell got a big payday at Tennessee, but if she doesn't show major progress in 3 years, they will kick her to the curb. Yes, they will. They did not bring her in to have her slowly build the program. They want to see progress right away. They want to see this team in the NCAA tournament. They want to see this team contending for national championships. They want to see this team contending for conference championships. That's the minimum. If she comes out of this after 3 years without conference championship, either regular season or tournament, and some serious runs in the NCAA tournament, they might look at this and go, okay, did we make the right choice here? Did we make the right choice? Because that's just where we're at with Tennessee basketball right now. They want success. They want a team that is challenging for championships. if you could say anything about Tennessee women's basketball, it's like Kentucky men's basketball. That's what they expect. It's because they've had so much success over the years. Fair? I mean, it's one of the traditional powers, or was. Pat Summitt, she left a huge, huge mark on that program. Over 1,000 wins. That was when she retired, that was the record. 1,098 career wins. She retired. That was the goal. We were shooting for that. 16-time SEC regular season champion. 16-time SEC tournament. 8-time NCAA champion, 87, 89, 91, 96 through 98, 2007, 2008. They made the NCAA regional Final Four 18 times. That is an impressive record, and they haven't reached those heights since. Pat Summitt was the real deal. She made that program what it is and was. And now they're trying to capture something similar to that, at least get back to what that standard is, winning SEC titles, winning NCAA titles. Can you imagine this is a program that's won the NCAA tournament 8 times, and the last time the program did it was in 2008? So, yeah, to the texture's point, if they don't see progress soon, they will kick her to the curb. I hope that's not the case, though. But it's the reality. It's absolutely the reality. And you don't have to really worry about anymore as far as, okay, what are we going to do? We lose our coach, or players, because the transfer portal has completely changed the dynamic here. You can go out in the transfer portal and you can put your team together within months, get the very best players you possibly can. You can make an impact right away. It's what the transfer portal does now, because the team that you had last year isn't going to be the team you have this year. And the team you have this year isn't going to be the team you have next year. Now, some of the better programs are going to be able to retain and build upon. But if you're a program that's very, very challenged, you look at your record, you couldn't get it done, new coach hits the transfer portal, you can fix that real quick. You can put together a team within a week. If you're really aggressive, you get the right players, you put them together real quick. You think Kentucky's going to have a problem attracting players, especially after that presser yesterday? No. Women's basketball, I'm sure it's going to be a little bit different, but again, the sport's growing a lot more, and I think that the women are seeing that there are opportunities to be had. And I think Marshall showed that, okay, it's possible here. Now, what happens this season? Can you duplicate that success? Can you duplicate that championship run? Can you put this team on your shoulders and carry it to another tournament title, regular season title? I like them both, but if I got to pick, I'm not gonna be like Dan and say, okay, we're shooting for the tournament. So he was worried, he was concerned about the regular season, but he still pointed to, hey, look, it doesn't matter as much if we get this regular season title or not. We're getting ready for the tournament. But those are where you get into the NCAA tournament. I mean, he had a valid point. Absolutely had a valid point. It's like, look, okay, we fell short in the regular season, but if we get this tournament win, this tournament championship, we go to the NCAA tournament. More of your texts coming up, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. This is The Drive, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Now at Menards. Add privacy and security to your home with AC2 pressure-treated pre-assembled wood fence panels. They're pressure-treated to protect from the elements and are pre-assembled for fast and easy installation. Plus, you can get free estimates fast with our fencing design programs in store and on Menards.com. Explore all of our fencing options and check out more of our great deals. Going on now at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Gabby.
Hey, Gabby. It's Jennifer Coolidge. Hi. I'm so glad I reached you at 2 a.m.
Oh, of course. Anyone with a Discover card can call and talk to a real person 24/7. Now, how can I help?
Yeah, I used my Discover card to buy these yellow pleather pajamas, and I'm just not sure I'm pulling them off.
24/7 U.S.-based customer service. It pays to Discover. Limitations apply. Learn more at discover.com/creditcard.
Buddy's All-American Barbecue is now in Milton. Enjoy all your favorite Buddy's classics like pulled pork, brisket, ribs, and more on East Main Street in Milton. Buddy's All-American Barbecue, the home of great barbecue, ice-cold beer, and killer wings in Huntington and now in Milton.
You know, there's something about a truck you can count on and that SUV that's been on every family vacation for a decade. TikTok Tire and Uniroyal know your truck or family car is only as reliable as the tires underneath it. And that's why Uniroyal made the Laredo AT Tire and HT Tire to be the tires you trust. You know, like you trust your truck, your SUV, or TikTok Tire. Uniroyal Laredo AT and Laredo HT. See where 130 years of value takes you. For more information, stop into TikTok Tire, 2102 3rd Avenue, Huntington, right across from the stadium, or call 304-525-7831.
Stalwart Insurance is the name for insurance in the tri-state. They are committed to delivering tailored benefit solutions with thoughtful, strategic planning with valuable professional services. Stop by or call Stalwart Insurance for your homeowner's insurance needs. Stalwart Insurance is located right beside Kenny Queen Hardware on Route 10 in Barbersville. Call Stalwart Insurance anytime at 304-552-3883. That's 304-552-3883. Or visit them online at stalwartinsurance.com.
Hey, Tri-State, Frank's Place is where friends hang out with friends. Stop on by for happy hour from 4 to 6 p.m. and a lot of daily specials. If you're a sports fan, we have what you want. From NCAA basketball, NBA, NHL, and MLB. First responders, stop by Frank's Place and check out the specials we have for you. Frank's Place, located at the River Place Plaza, next to Fratelli's. Check us out on Facebook for weekly updates and specials. Frank's Place, your home away from home.
Stirring fiber, exercising, frequent trips to the store for more laxatives and fiber. Sounds like your constipation with belly pain is a lot to manage. But if your symptoms that keep coming back are signs of irritable bowel syndrome with constipation or IBS-C, ask your doctor how Linzess can help you get ahead of it. Linzess linaclotide is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
This is The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
We're wrapping up today's edition of the show, but still plenty of time for you. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. Let's get those texts in. We also will be on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Paul Swann. Tomorrow is the big day, as we mentioned. Basketball, baseball, we've got all of that coming up. Speaking of baseball, we got baseball action coming up tonight, 6:45 right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Will be the Pirates in action, taking on the Metropolitans. Series opener tonight. We'll have the game right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Yesterday, the Pirates beat the Phillies 9-2. Reds beat the White Sox yesterday 11-4. Cincinnati sweeping the series in Chicago. The Reds opening up a series in Seattle tonight. And Cleveland yesterday beat the Yankees 8-7 and followed that up this morning with an 11-10 first pitch in Boston, and the Land won. Cleveland wins, beating Boston 6-0. And don't forget, we've got Marshall taking on Morehead State tomorrow night. 5:50 airtime, 6:00-ish first pitch. We'll have that for you right here. ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. How many of you are going to be watching the draft tonight? The WNBA draft coming up. Iowa guard Caitlin Clark going first. Indiana, they have the first draft pick. How many of you are going to be watching that tonight? You think the draft is going to get that Caitlin Clark rub the way that the championship game got that Caitlin Clark rub? I think a lot of people are going to be watching that. Now, it's kind of anticlimactic. We all know Caitlin Clark's going to Indiana. But how many people are going to stick around for pick 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15? How many people are going to be sticking around for that? I might pop in just for a minute. Watch a little bit of that. Of course, I got to get ready. Look, I know some of you sometimes get a little testy, but I got hockey to watch tonight. We got hockey coming up tonight as the push for the playoffs continues. Of course, we're getting ready for the NBA playoffs as well. You know, unlike the NBA, there are no stinking play-in games. You win and get in. There's no play-in games. None of that stuff. You either earn your spot or you don't. And I've heard talk that maybe some other sports should adopt the play-in. No, do not do that. I do not. No, regular season means something. Make that matter. If you're not good enough to get in during the regular season run, you don't get in. I get it. I mean, you have the wild card in baseball. That should be fine. That should be enough. The wild card is fine. I don't like play-ins. I don't like them in the NCAA tournament, the play-in. I think the play-in in the NCAA tournament, it should never be an automatic qualifier as well. It should be these like bottom teams, these teams that, okay, you're the last ones in. And so if you're like the 7th or 8th team from the Big East, bad example. If you're like the 7th or 8th team from the SEC, you get a play-in game. That's what you should get that game. Instead, we give those play-in games to some of the teams that have automatically qualified. And they're interesting, and I'll watch them. I can't lie to you. I will watch them, but I don't like play-ins. Maybe it's just because I like the purity of, okay, you either get in the playoffs or you don't. I think the regular season is more exciting when you're playing for the playoff spot instead of, oh, well, okay, it's fine. We're going to be in the play-in. It's okay. I mean, it's anticlimactic. Now, if I'm a fan of a team that's in the play-in, I'm absolutely on board with this. But I'm not a fan of the, okay, well, we got the play-in game here, so you got to play your way in. You're kind of in, but you're not. And then everyone else has got to wait for you. No, I don't like that at all. That's going to do it for this edition. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate everyone who was with me today, and I hope you're back with me tomorrow. We're going to be over at Jack Cook Field. Marshall taking on Morehead State. We'll have new women's basketball coach Julie Folks joining us tomorrow on the program. I'll be heading over to the Henderson Center. It'll be 11 a.m. presser. We'll have a breakaway session afterwards. That's where all the good stuff gets asked. We're not going to ask the good stuff on the public presser. No. We got to ask that stuff privately so we can come up with our very own original content. You know how this works, right? I'll have that stuff for you tomorrow as well. Thanks for tuning in. I'll be back with you tomorrow live from Jack Cook Field on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Retransmitting in Glorious FM on 94.1 W227BS Huntington. This is 930 WRVC Huntington, celebrating 100 years of broadcasting.